why one of the reasons why I wrote this epic journey book, which was based on pure intuition, just pure gut intuition, is because visionaries are completely misunderstood by the vast majority of society. So wrote this as a bridge to hopefully help others understand what a true visionary and who a true visionary is. And then, as important, if not more important, help the visionary understand that they're not alone in this world, because being a visionary can be a very lonely world of complete misunderstanding.
Okay, Justin, if you don't mind outlining your name, your company, and what you do.
Oh, my name is Justin Breen, co-founder of the Epic Fit Network, which is a global mastermind that connects visionaries to serve humanity. And I live my entire life in purpose.
Fantastic. Well, let's dive into that as to one of your questions. What are your first principles? You mentioned your purpose. How do you balance your personal first principles and vision, mission, purpose with the values that you're building in your business?
It's a good question. One of my new favorite quotes is from a Carl Jung disciple, Robert Johnson, who's no longer with us, but he did a lot of research on shadow work and Grail Quest. And this is paraphrasing the quote, but for a certain select few, there is a determination to seek liberation from social hypnosis. Determination to seek liberation from social hypnosis. And it's very rare. So the word business comes from the word Beisigness, which means anxiety. The word sale means dull and dirty. I don't live in that world. I live in purpose world, which is connecting visionaries to serve humanity. And it all aligns. So I spend my whole day talking to the world's most interesting, fascinating folks, people who are thinking well beyond their own lifetime. And they're trying and actively changing the world. And I don't live in business world. I just don't do that. And then my wife, who's a pure, kind, loving pediatrician who also runs Epic Fit Network, she and her assistant and our members run the actual company aspect of it, the backstage of it. I just spend my life in my purpose. And then our two sons, who are 10 and 12, are pure visionaries who will 100% change the world. So to me, a pure focus on purpose, everything else aligns. It's a byproduct of pure focus.
You mentioned you had an opportunity every day to hang out or interview founders, CEOs, those that are true visionaries. You also mentioned that they think far beyond their lifetime. Can you feel beyond
Thinking
their
is
lifetime?
IQ. Yeah, the true visionary feels first. They feel.
Can you describe for the uninitiated, help the listeners of this podcast are founders, CEOs, chief revenue officers, chief marketing officers. What are you finding that separates those true visionaries from the average founder, the average
So average
CEO?
comes from the word avery, which means damage to a ship or cargo. And there's very little awareness in the world, very little awareness. There's so much social hypnosis that people are just living in human constructs, which is fine, by the way. But I've learned in 47 years of life that my ability is to actually see what's actually happening, and then more importantly, share that with the world. So I'm very grateful. Third book, which will be called Epic Journey, Dr. Deepak Chopra is writing the introduction for that. So I'm very grateful for that. But again, that's a byproduct of singular focus. And then what I've learned, whether it was 20 years as a journalist or spending my whole life talking to top visionaries on planet, or ones that will do whatever it takes to become those folks, I found there are only four things that separate visionaries from business owners, consultants, employees, whatever that is. There are only four things. Only four. One, bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy. Two, depression. Three, highest level of anxiety you can imagine. Four, trauma as a child or young adult. Bankruptcy, trauma as a child or young adult, depression or anxiety. So business owners, consultants, employees, those four things are excuses. Those four things are excuses. Visionary, visionary at highest level, those are figure it out. That's it. So since COVID, not counting silver spoons, because that's a fundamentally different discussion. But most of the people I talk to are not silver spoons. So not counting silver spoons, I've talked to 8 or 9 folks less than 3 of those 4 things since COVID. 8 or 9 less than 3 of the 4. I'm 3 of the 4. Most of the people I talk to now are all 4. Most. No excuses, not at the highest level. If you want to stay in business owner, consultant, employee world, that's fine, by the way. But at the visionary thinking beyond, well beyond own lifetime, well beyond own lifetime, no excuses, no choice. It's a commandment from a higher power. So that's one. And then I have found there are only 4 types of visionaries, only 4. One is ADD, diagnosed or undiagnosed. I'd say 90% of the people I talk to are ADD. It's not a disorder. It's a sign of genius mislabeled by humans. 2 is autism, Asperger's, however you want to describe that. My wife, who is a pediatrician, has unofficially diagnosed me with that, which is fine. It's a gift. 3 is dyslexia. 30% of visionaries are dyslexic. And then 4, to me, most importantly, a true visionary has both high IQ and high EQ. High IQ and EQ. The high IQ folks with the lower EQ, those are the logic, narcissists, all care about money, whatever that is, which is fine, by the way. And then the high EQ, lower IQ folks, it's the person singing Kumbaya on the street corner, street fair, selling gems, which is fine. That's also fine. The true visionary has both the high IQ and the EQ.
Now, are you finding that the talent, we'll just call it that visionary talent, is able to overcome their mindset of an excuse? You mentioned bankruptcy
It's not
or
their
some sort
mindset.
of
It's they
emotional.
feel it's right. Thank you for asking that. The
Yeah.
high IQ logic folks thinks mindset is most important. That's incorrect. It's incorrect. It's actually your heart. It's a gut, pure intuition feeling. One of the chapters in the Epic Journey book is about EQ versus IQ. I found the true highest IQ is actually high EQ, listening to your heart, pure intuition. And every visionary that I've talked to, certainly since COVID, believes in a higher power. Not necessarily religion. Religion means to bind, but certainly they're very spiritual and have always felt that there's some type of higher power, North Star, looking out for them that has always guided them. So it's a feeling. And then my favorite quote is from Ralph Waldo Emerson: "To be great is to be misunderstood. To be great is to be misunderstood." So one of the reasons why I wrote this Epic Journey book, which was based on pure intuition, just pure gut intuition, is because visionaries are completely misunderstood by the vast majority of society. So wrote this as a bridge to hopefully help others understand what a true visionary and who a true visionary is. And then, as important, if not more important, help the visionary understand that they're not alone in this world, because being a visionary can be a very lonely world of complete misunderstanding.
So as we wrap up, where can you give me some tangible takeaways? The audience members are sitting there, and I'll give you an example. I have founder friends that have decided to get themselves tested and diagnosed as adult ADHD, and it reframed their mind. They thought, which might have been
Of
a
course,
crutch
because
from their
humans say
secondary
right,
school or from
100%.
university, but now they own 4 businesses, and it's all making sense to them
Yeah.
now. What are some takeaways you could give to the audience that would really benefit the entrepreneur, the founder, to figure out, are they a visionary, or are they, like, it's kind of like that concept of there's the visionary and the integrator in the book. I think it's called, I can't remember if it's from
Yeah,
Traction or
yeah.
Rocket
Gino
Fuel or
Wickman's
what
a
have
good
you.
friend of mine.
Yeah, Gino recommends Rocket Fuel. But what are some of the takeaways they can get from this?
Well, I appreciate that question. What I've learned is that life is a never-ending learning lesson uh, about yourself, and then I think the most important takeaway is honoring a higher power first. Again, every single one, every visionary I've talked to believes in a higher power, and I've found the ones that don't. Well, to me, they're not visionaries, but that's fine. But the ones that don't, that comes down to more narcissistic behavior, and uh, and it's a fascinating thing, or surrendering to a higher power, or detaching yourself from the outcome. That's a fascinating thing. So I'm not an advice person or a should person, but I have found the greatest visionaries are the ones that can let go the most and realize they're not really in charge.
Fantastic. This is interesting. This is very
So I
different
hear refreshing. The
than,
word I hear is refreshing.
yeah, refreshing. It's very, exactly, really refreshing. There's most of our conversations around gross
Not mine.
margins and
Don't care
profit
about any of
margins.
that. So that's human constructs, and business means anxiety.
Yeah,
So when the people say the word business,
yeah.
that's what they're saying. That's what it is.
This is fantastic. How do people get a hold of you?
Well, one, I appreciate you reaching out to me. So thank you for that. Thank you means acknowledging the other person's humanity. One of our members who, I'll answer your question, but one of our members who bought the second flying car in the United States, he taught our group what thank you means. So I think that's a far more important contribution. But yeah,
Flying
right.
car.
Well, that's, that's
Yeah.
the type of people I talk to. LinkedIn is fine. Justin Breen on LinkedIn. And then the company's website is theepicfit.com, theepicfit.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the
We
show.
the North, my friend. We the North.